Hey guys, GWS here. Just here for something short, just to give a little bit of an opinion, evaluation, um, just general thoughts on President Donald Trump. Because I don't think I've given a direct evaluation of him in terms of a video. So, what grade, to summarize what I give him, the TLDR of it all? I'd give him B plus, and it really it was kind of an A minus, but you just had so much of the healthcare stuff. And first of all, what do I like? I like the fact that he's getting some results overseas, and with executive action, he has done a lot, and he obviously has talked to people behind closed doors, and that's a good thing. Like, when Trump is running things, it has been overall good. With the military, you've seen the best results out of all of them. If you look at the amount that ISIS has lost since he's become president. Now, because of his secrecy with the military, he doesn't really divulge a lot, and I think the media are starting to understand this, and they're stopping the why Trump's keeping such secrets. It's he doesn't talk about the military like Obama did. Pretty much with Obama, everybody got to be an armchair general because we knew exactly what was going on, what they were going to focus on, when they were going to focus on it. And the enemy's watching that same stuff, so it's like, okay, so we'll evacuate Mosul, let them invade it, and then once the U.S. forces dwindle down, we'll counterattack and we'll take the city back from the Iraqi army. And that's what happened. We had no impact at all in Syria. It was what I like to call a PR bombing campaign. With Trump, we've done good. Um, so, like I said, when he's running things, it's been fine. But here is the problem: this is not a dictatorship. And I'm not saying Trump is attempting to be a dictator, because his executive orders have redone all of Obama's executive orders. But what I'm saying is the competency of a leader is not just based on being a good executive, it's based a lot on it. And really, even being a good executive isn't just based on how effective you personally are, it's in your leadership. And this is where Trump has really dropped the ball so far. And when you have people like Bob Corker coming out and saying that Trump has not been as effective as he needs to be to push this stuff through, he's right. It doesn't mean he's a bad president, but what it means is this: when all this healthcare stuff is being passed, when you have contentious legislation, people on the left and people on the right fighting it out, and then you have the rhinos, you have the blue dogs, you have all this stuff that complicates Congress, um, and Republicans can't just shove things through because they got 52, and there's a couple of them. McCain's a maverick. He's just going to vote how he wants to vote. He's voting more in protest of procedure, anyhow. And then you have Susan Collins, who is the Queen Rhino, as you put it. So you don't have the votes to push through most of the contentious stuff. So what's gonna what you need is a president who will say, "This is what I want. Push this through, and put it on my desk. And you go out there and you campaign for this specific legislation. Trump doesn't do that, though. He stays on the sidelines. He stays on the sidelines, and he just, when something doesn't pass, he puts the blame on Congress. And some of it's on Congress, because you got to have your leadership in Congress. Paul Ryan's dropped the ball. There's a lot of people who dropped the ball. But there's an even bigger thing, and that, Trump just has not gone all out on things, because I don't think he wants to put himself out there and put himself behind something so that if it doesn't go through, he gets the negative PR for it, which is a horrible idea, because you're getting the PR for it anyhow. All three of these healthcare measures that have not passed, Trump hasn't had anything to do with it. Anything to do with the drafting of the legislation. He probably didn't even read most of it. The drafting and all that. And it's like, he's not even putting himself behind it, but he's still getting the blame. So I don't even see where his defensive behavior is coming from. And one other thing that is a major problem, and this is what gets under my skin more than anything, is you have all these meetings with the business owners, with your cabinet, with world leaders, and all this. Take the damn cameras out of there and quit announcing the meetings. Because, see, here's what Trump's doing. It's, Trump is basically in it for his own PR. And that is getting in the way of a lot of the support that he's not getting. It's like I said, when I said at the beginning, when he's running things and he's talking to people privately, and they don't have to deal with the public, they don't have to deal with the media, he has done a wonderful job. Things have gone wonderfully, but every time you get into these cabinet meetings and you get in these business meetings, you are scaring these people to death when you got to have media and cameras in. Everybody go in, make introductions, and hell, it's just pathetic, first of all, if you have to tell them to say good things about you or whatever, tell them, throw in a pitch and all that. I don't know if that's genuine or not, because that could be fake news too, but I mean, either way, I don't even care about that. Get the cameras out, and it's not even just because, it's petty, because I don't give a damn if it's petty if it gets the job done. But the problem is, you are not serving any interest, not your own interest, especially when you tell them to come over and have the media in, because Trump loves the media. He loves the media, but a lot of these people don't love the media. You don't see these people do anything other than limited prepared statements, and they're only going to say what they have to. And often they're talking to shareholders. They don't want to deal with the mass media because they don't want to be a target. And so when you do this, and you got to close your business meetings down because all of a sudden they don't want to be a part of it anymore. They don't want the media backlash of saying you're with Trump. And Trump just isn't really a good speaker to begin with. So it's like, he's talking, he can't generate good PR to save his life. He's a troll. That's what he's good at in terms of speaking. I think when he's talking to people normally and he can relate to them, he could bring people together. But in terms of speaking in public, Trump needs to learn that the media is just not into him and will never be into him. Because what the media wants is a well-spoken well-spoken person who speaks clearly, who is essentially the opposite of what I am. um, but like an Obama. Like Obama, I've always said it, he was a horrible president, but he was one of the best campaigners in American history. He was one of the best spoken presidents in American history. You could you could probably point to 3 to 4 people who was as well spoken in terms of the public as Obama. It is extremely rare. But Trump needs to get off that. And then the Twitter stuff, I don't mind some stuff on Twitter, but just the amount of time he spends thinking about various tweets and trying to use that. It's like I said, his presence on Twitter is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. And a tweet storm every now and then is not a bad thing either. Because it lets the people know how he feels. It's not what he says on Twitter, but it's how it's affecting him. And this is what Trump needs to do. And he needs to find a better hobby than TV. It's like, again, I don't mind presidents having hobbies. They have free time just like Americans have free time. Their job, they're on call 24/7, but they get breaks, they get free time and all that too. It's just, but in his free time, he needs to find something better than the media to watch. He needs to stop focusing on trying to take the pulse of the media and doing something that he's not very effective at, and he needs to work on his strengths. Get people together privately, no cameras, no media, get them together and develop personal relationships. Maybe he's already done that because, he does invite people to Mar-a-Lago, and I don't think he's just golfing and talking about the weather with them. They're talking policy, and I think he's developing some relationships, but he needs to do that more. I would like to see a Trump presidency where, yeah, he can hold his rallies, he can get on Twitter, but that shouldn't be his focus. His focus with his work needs to be with what he's done well, and that is be an executive, develop private relationships with people so that you can work with them, so that you can develop a line of communication and understanding, mutual understanding, and then that's when you can use what that's how he can use what he's good at. I'm acting like I'm talking to Trump, like he's gonna watch this, but develop those relationships in a private manner, in a way where they're not feeling like they're contending with the media while dealing with him. And that's pretty much my assessment of Trump. Overall, I think he's done a good job. He's done a better job than anybody since Clinton. I really think he's done a better job than Clinton, especially up to this point, because Clinton's first year in office was not a good year in a variety of ways. He struggled. It took him a couple years before he could work with Congress, and it may take Trump about that amount of time too, about a year, so 6 months from now. But anyhow, that's the video, and thank you guys for listening. God bless.